Swadika, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand, FM 88, and also on NB2 World. It's a Tuesday, and the date is September 1st of 2015, and you're with me, Sandra Han Utsaha. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has thanked all officers who worked together until the investigation into the Bangkok explosions progressed significantly. The Prime Minister, however, called for all sides not to draw hasty conclusions about the reasons behind the bomb blasts. The cooperation between military and police officers in the case had led to arrests of the suspects, said General Prayut. He suggested that everyone should not assume who was behind the attacks, since their guesses might affect many groups of people. Meanwhile, Minister of Foreign Affairs Don Paramatvinai has stressed that the government needed to step up immigration controls after one of the bomb suspects was found to hold fake passports. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has hosted a delegation of youths from the southern border provinces who are participants in the Belia Thai Sejua Sehati program who were visiting Government House. General Prayut gave an address to the youngsters as well as to officials responsible for the Belia Thai Sejua Sehati program that seeks to give Deep South youths real exposure to other regions of Thailand. He told the delegation that the government remained committed to the solving of the Deep South problem and that the soldiers deployed in the area were there to maintain security and enforce the law. The Prime Minister asked the participants to contribute towards solving the Deep South unrest by starting at the family level. At the same time, he indicated that the peace dialogue for the southern border provinces needed to be conducted under Thai law. The government is set to speed up its economic stimulus plans with focus given to SMEs and farmers. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha on Monday chaired a meeting of the State Enterprise Policy Office, during which he heard the summary of the rehabilitation plan for 7 state enterprises. General Prayut also delivered his policies to the new economic team, in which the focus is the continuation of 6 strategic groups to solve the problems of Thailand and to build up confidence and trust among members of the executive branch, civil servants, and the public. Deputy Prime Minister Somkit Jatusipitak said that the meeting was the first since the new economic team was appointed. He stated that the discussion has been about how to boost the efficiency of the economy and the contingency plans to cope with any problems. Governor of the Bank of Thailand, or BOT, Prasan Trairatborokun, has voiced his belief in the government's ability to boost the national economy in the short term without affecting the fiscal discipline. Commenting on the government's promotion of the Village Fund as an extra loan source for people, Mr. Prasan pointed out that the move could be effective as a short-term measure to spur the economy. He was confident the government will carefully draw up its loan criteria in a way that will not damage the fiscal discipline or exacerbate the household debt problem. The central bank governor affirmed liquidity in the country's financial system is still at a healthy level, judging from stability in the banking sector. He also expected the Village Fund project to help alleviate the economic hardship in the country and facilitate the restoration of public confidence. However, despite the stable outlook, Mr. Prasan admitted that the Thai economy will unlikely post high growth as it is being hindered by the impact from the world economic slowdown. The Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau, or TCEP, expressed confidence that the number of meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions, or MICE tourists, will expand on target amid the global economic slowdown. TCEP President Noparat Methawikunthai revealed that there were about 720,000 MICE travelers who visited Thailand during the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year 2015. There was an increase of 7.84% from the same period last year. The visits generated roughly 63 billion baht in revenue, a year-on-year increase of 8.69%. Mr. Noparat believes Thailand's MICE industry will not be affected by the global economic slowdown or currency volatility. He reasoned that Thailand's MICE capacity is more developed compared to other countries in the region, and that the government has been striving to regain the confidence of foreign tourists. The Minister of the Prime Minister's office has urged all sectors to encourage the youth to preserve Thai culture. Mamlong Panadadisagul inaugurated the Thanachart Manners Contest, saying the country must preserve its culture of humility as it is the foundation of the Thai identity. He urged attendees to practice unity in solving the country's social conflict to set a good example for future generations. The Thanachart Thai Manners Contest is a reading competition for primary and secondary school levels sponsored by Princess Mahachakri Sirinthorn. The National Reform Council, or NRC, Committee on Energy Reform has proposed that more parties be allowed to shape the country's energy policies. Anchali Chawanit, Vice Chairman of the Energy Reform Committee, said that energy policies have historically been dictated by the Energy Policy and Planning Office, the Energy Policy Committee, and the Energy Conservation Fund Committee. She proposed that other stakeholders be included in the policy-making process, such as consumers, private companies, and experts. Ms. Anchali argued that this approach allows for energy policy that represents all sides as well as enhances transparency. The Constitution Drafting Committee, or CDC, has claimed that the new Constitution differs from its predecessors in its emphasis on reform and democracy, according to international standards. The Secretariat of the House of Representatives is holding an event from August 31st to September 2nd to exchange knowledge and further develop human resources in the country. CDC Chairman Bawansa Uwano has spoken at the event, saying the new constitution has been designed to address the context of Thailand as a divided society in constant political conflict. He said that the country's current stability was only possible due to the intervention by the National Council for Peace and Order. The new constitution must therefore ensure that peace and reconciliation can be achieved under normal conditions. The CDC chairman explained that under the new constitution, the country will undergo a 5-year transition period with mechanisms to carry out reform and reconciliation before becoming fully democratic in accordance with international standards. The Office of the National Research Council of Thailand, or NRCT, is laying down 2 measures to promote the use of Thai researchers' work and to increase state revenue from research by 20-fold. Speaking at a seminar on technology, licensing, and commercialization of research findings, NRCT Secretary General Suthiporn Jitmitraphap indicated that the current government has a policy to promote science, technology, research, and innovation as a foundation for the country to develop on and to raise its competitiveness. In order to comprehensively support research and research management, the NRCT has launched its Thai Kid project. According to Dr. Sutiphon, a Technology Licensing Office, or TLO, would be the agency that acts as a medium to relay the work of researchers or innovators to the business or industrial sectors. He added that the offices currently exist at universities, but most were working independently of one another and without clear guidance. Therefore, the NRCT is now addressing this issue with the purpose of increasing the efficiency in the process of applying research to real-world use. And the Department of Business Development, or DBD, is to hold E-Commerce Day 2015 fair from the 9th to the 10th of September under the concept Empowering Your Business with Digital Commerce, aiming to boost market confidence in Thai online businesses and provide entrepreneurs with a modern channel to expand their businesses. A survey of e-commerce in Thailand indicates there are 400,000 e-traders enrolling in the e-commerce platform through 14,268 websites. 12,573 of the number that is, have legally registered their businesses. In 2013, online trade value stood at 770 billion Thai baht, representing a 30% growth in revenue. The value rose to 1.1 trillion Thai baht during the past 2 years. The E-Commerce Day 2015 will take place at the Commerce Ministry headquarters near Sanam Bin Ma Road, with seminars on various topics related to e-commerce, including the 2016 E-Commerce Outlook. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. It's time for a quick break, but first we'll have a look at the exchange rates and the commodity prices.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The second core value, being honest, sacrificing, showing restraint and determinations in doing good for the majority.
Even if we don't see them, they are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
This is Thailand at large.
The show which is about to take you to the new experiences with the exciting stories.
With charming fascination.
Chip.
With a touch of Thainess.
Join us on NBT World.
Explore with us and you'll know and love Thailand even more than before.
Multiple perspectives, insightful commentary on Thailand with The Insider every Sunday morning at 10:30 on NBT and NBT World.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline, and it's time for our ASEAN news. Thailand's Public Relations Department, or PRD, is offering a Vietnamese language course for PRD officials in preparation for the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, which is commencing this year. PRD Deputy Director General Jarun Thaisorn said in his opening remarks before the Vietnamese teaching program began that the Public Relations Department, or PRD, had agreed to implement the program as part of an official development plan. The learning program includes the teaching of the contemporary Hanoi dialect and is focusing on both proper pronunciation and general communication. Mr. Jarun said a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, between the Vietnam News Agency and the Public Relations Department of Thailand has facilitated cooperation concerning the exchange of information and relevant news items. It is expected that the plan to teach Vietnamese language to the PRD officials will further strengthen relations between Thailand and Vietnam. Mr. Jarun added that the cooperation between the Vietnam News Agency and the Public Relations Department will surely promote mutual understanding to the two countries' peoples. And elsewhere in the world, a Ukrainian National Guardsman was killed and nearly 90 others were wounded by grenades hurled from a crowd of nationalist protesters on Monday as they were guarding Parliament, where lawmakers backed giving more autonomy to rebel-held areas. The violence, which the government blamed on the main nationalist party and division in the pro-Western camp in Parliament, suggested President Petro Poroshenko will struggle to push through key parts of a faltering peace agreement reached in February for eastern Ukraine. Poroshenko sprang to the defense of the constitutional reforms following the clashes outside Parliament, where deputies loyal to him managed to push through a first reading of a decentralization draft law, but only in the face of strong criticism from some of his political allies. In a message to the nation, he said that if Parliament had not passed the draft in line with Kiev's commitments at the peace talks in Minsk, Belarus, Ukraine would have been in danger of losing the support of its Western allies. The violence came after 265 deputies voted in favor of the bill, 39 more than that required to pass, at a boisterous session with many deputies shouting shame and rhythmically beating parliamentary benches. Trainloads of migrants arrived in Austria and Germany from Hungary on Monday as European Union asylum rules collapsed under the strain of a wave of migration unprecedented in the EU. As thousands of men, women, and children, many fleeing Syria's civil war, continued to arrive from the east, authorities let thousands of undocumented people travel on towards Germany, the favored destination for many. The influx is a crisis for the European Union, or EU, which has eliminated border controls between 26 Schengen area states, but requires asylum seekers to apply in the first EU country they reach, something that is often ignored as migrants race from the fringes of the bloc to its more prosperous heart. In line with EU rules, an Austrian police spokesman said only those who had not already requested asylum in Hungary would be allowed through, but the sheer pressure of numbers prevailed and trains were allowed to move on. Late on Monday, a train from Vienna to Hamburg on which migrants were traveling was met in Passau, Germany, by police wearing bulletproof vests, according to a Reuters witness. Police entered the train and migrants were asked to accompany them to be registered. About 40 people were seen on the platform. 5 people died and 6 were injured in an explosion at a fireworks factory on Monday near Zaragoza in northeastern Spain, officials said. The cause of the blast at the factory on the outskirts of the city near the airport was unknown. The explosion at the factory, which makes fireworks and matches, was heard in a large area of the city. Television pictures showed a large column of smoke rising from the factory. Emergency services urged local residents to stay away from the area. The airport continued operating. A spokeswoman for the regional government of Aragon confirmed that 5 people had been killed and 6 were injured to varying degrees. She said firefighters were continuing their work at the factory, which exports products to other European countries and Canada. El País newspaper said accidents at fireworks factories around the country in the last 25 years had claimed more than 110 lives. The woman who died in Sierra Leone's Cambia district along the border with Guinea tested positive for Ebola, last authorities said on Monday. The new death, just a week after Sierra Leone began a 42-day countdown to declare itself free of Ebola, would represent a setback for efforts to end the 18-month regional epidemic. More than 28,000 people have been infected, and more than a third of them have died through Ebola. Sierra Leone's chief medical officer, Brima Cargbo, told Reuters on the phone further tests were being carried out in Makeni, the main town in the northern province, and in the capital, Freetown. The second day at the Notting Hill Carnival on Monday was a washout, but it didn't dampen the party spirit as thousands of revelers took to the streets of West London dressed up in festival costumes. The festivities celebrate the history of West London's Afro-Caribbean culture and residents with brightly colored parades and floats. The carnival is Europe's biggest street festival and has been held each August bank holiday since 1966. That's all we have for you in this edition of Newsline. If you have any comments or suggestions, then do feel free to email them to us at newsline.ndt@gmail.com. It's also possible to follow us on Facebook by simply typing in NNT. And do take the time to check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. Today we're going to say goodbye with footage of a baby pygmy hippopotamus in Chiang Mai Zoo. I'm Sandra Hanun Saha for Newsline. Have a spectacular day. Sawadee ka.